Hello viewers, welcome to Parrot Show. My name is Peter Orinan. Today we are taking you on a journey, the 16 years of PDP. Has PDP been a blessing to Nigeria and Nigerians? Have they made a difference? Or have they been the change they want to see in the society? What do we as a nation remember about PDP? Or are we as a people forgetting where we are coming from? Today we join some PDP elders and leaders as they relive the 16 years experience of PDP and what their future plans are for the people of Nigeria. So ladies and gentlemen, please sit back, relax, and have an amazing time coming on this journey with us.
Nigerians can easily recall that as a result of suffocating military regimes in this country, we came into office in 1999 when the confidence of Nigerians in their country and even in themselves had weighed down. We came in at a time when Nigerians were checking out of this country.
The annulment of June 12 election and the excesses of Abacha's regime brought so much pains and anger that it threatened the survival of Nigeria as a country.
The situation that we had in 1998 was the specter of some bordering on civil war, on fratricidal, the thing was, graduating, because it kept on escalating, on account of the activities of the military regime. So the situation as of June 1998 was the potential of Nigeria to disintegrate.
We went in at the brink of Nigeria disintegrating. People have forgotten that.
At the time it was mostly needed, the PDP provided an inclusive government. A government of national unity, peace and love was the way to go after the traumatic experience of June 12 annulment and tyrannical experience under the Abacha regime.
Again, I wanted to have women, the largest number of women that we have ever had in Nigerian cabinet. 9 of them. I said I wanted ministers from the other parties. We had, if you like, a government of more or less national unity.
With the Obasanjo policies on women, the PDP championed the entrance of women into politics and other public offices, a development that continued till 2015 when PDP left governance.
And so President Obasanjo, in his era, gave us 9 women. In that, he broke down all the stereotypes and that said that women were only supposed to be in the Ministry of Women Affairs.
As the effort at unifying the country and bringing about a sense of oneness started to yield positive results, the next challenge was to create an environment of accountability and transparency. Something Nigerians, the first difficult nut to crack was the constant military coups. But thanks to the purposeful leadership of the PDP government under President Obasanjo, a solution seemed to have been found.
Where do we handle the issue of incessant coups? So I decided those who have benefited from coups, either they have taken part in coups themselves or they have been ministers or administrators. I said they should give me their name. 93 of them, officers, they were retired. Again, to bring normality into our democracy. Now, that made coup to become a thing of the past.
Fighting corruption that has become so cancerous and has spread round the nooks and crannies of Nigeria led to the establishment of the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC.
Issue of corruption. The first law, the first bill that I gave to the National Assembly is the ICPC. Then to support it, we brought in EFCC.
For the EFCC to be relevant and command the respect of every Nigerian, it had to be objective and neutral in its dealings with the people, regardless of their status.
In fact, the way EFCC is being used today is not the way it's meant to be used. It's not being used to fight opponents. That is not what it's designed for. And the chairman of a party in this country said, whatever sin you commit, including whatever you did wrong, once you join their party, your sins are washed clean.
The democratic entrenchment President Obasanjo Atiku started, followed by President Yar'Adua Jonathan, was taken to an all-time high when the Jonathan Sambo ticket conceded defeat to Buhari Osinbajo in 2015 elections, calling to congratulate him despite the credibility issues surrounding the process of the election.
A head of a country or a governor of a state or even a chairman of a local council or indeed if you're in the parliament, the motivation, the reason why you go into politics drives your intentions, your motives. If you go into politics because you want to be seen as the headmaster that has the cane to flog the subjects, or you go into politics because you think it will give you the platform to become so rich, maybe become the richest person in your country or in your state or in your local government, then it will be extremely difficult for you to take decisions that will help the people. What drove me into politics was how to find ways to help the people, because I love the people. And if that is your motive, if your philosophy is based on helping people through different processes, then of course you will love the people. You will appreciate the people, and you wouldn't want any of them to be injured.
One of the earliest tasks President Obasanjo and his PDP administration was confronted with was the repayment of our foreign debt and freeing us from financial slavery yet again.
I found that $3 billion we were using every year to service debt. How can we survive in that? And when we came in, the price of oil was $9 per barrel. Relief. I have to go around the world. So look, debt relief.
Paying off the debt brought an era of endless possibilities to Nigeria, such as the minimum wage increment, the bold initiation of the pension reform scheme, national health insurance scheme, and their likes. The economic reforms, among others, brought about the much-needed pension reform and addressed the stealing of military and police pension funds, and thus not only brought sanity to the pension administration in Nigeria, but corrected it.
Those who served with me in the war front, dying where they were waiting to collect their pension without any hope. I got petition from those who were teachers. These people, I heard of them even when I was in school. Now they retire. They couldn't get their pension. Something has to be done. We introduced contributory pension.
The advent of GSM has changed the way we live our lives. Therefore, the story of PDP cannot be completed without mentioning the GSM revolution in Nigeria. It has thus changed the way we communicate with each other and the world, and the way we also do business.
With the GSM revolution, we opened up, the PDP opened up the economic spaces, the value chain, the creation of that in itself, the way, the amount of the inflows, the economic inflows into the country, even with regards to that sector in itself alone, the creation of jobs within the GSM, within the telephone revolution, the amount of jobs that were created, the technology that was brought into this country, as well as the ability for us then to start to catch up with the rest of the world. When we started to do internet banking and so on and so forth, the burgeoning, the ballooning of the internet, the free flow of information.
The Subsidy Reinvestment and Empowerment Program, SureP, provided a platform for both skilled and unskilled Nigerians to realize their dreams. Through the SureP program, people with little or no skills were given the opportunity to gain employment and experience, just as professionals used the platform to gain more expertise.
And SureP not only help to promote projects across the country, infrastructure projects and that I know many of our key arterial roads were being funded from Shopee. Then, of course, in the rail sector, Shopee was also helping to fund road development program. And for us, especially in the road sector, we had about 334 ongoing road projects at the time, covering a total distance of about 13,000 kilometers. And the yearly budget, which averaged about between 80 to 100 billion naira, was not enough to fund these projects. And some of these projects are well known by Nigerians who traverse the length and breadth of this country. And some of them are there. In the southwest, we have the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. In the south-south, we have the Benin-Ore-Shagamu Expressway. In the north, we have the Abuja-Lokoja-Benin Expressway. We have the Kano-Maiduguri Expressway. We have the Onitsha, Oka, Enugu, Aba, Port Harcourt Expressway. We have the Warri, Port Harcourt Expressway, and so many other. Of course, we had the local Weto Bridge that was still being funded from proceeds of the Shopee. And we had the second Niger Bridge, which also benefited immensely from the Shopee.
The unskilled workers learn from experience and practice and become employable even when they lose their present jobs.
Will improve because we've learned a lot. I've been working with the Federal Ministry for 2.5 years now, and I've really learned a lot. The Federal Ministry is different from the construction company. So with the experience we are gaining, some of our contemporaries, we can be able to, educate them on how to become a better engineer. And then,
since I've joined this company, they are feeling fine with my wife because we are taking some things that we are not used to take before. We are taking it now. so make us something. So
you win. Nigerian youths, which form the largest population of youths in the sub-region through the UWIN scheme, got the opportunity to actualize their business dreams. This has over the years created a crop of successful young local and international entrepreneurs in the world. These two UWINers reminisce on the experience they got from the scheme as they share with us.
They gave us training after training after training on best business practices, on what we should do to move our businesses forward, how to set up systems that will structure and things like that.
I had never written out a business plan until I wanted to apply for UWIN. That was when the thought even came, oh, you have to write a business plan. And so that process of application itself I found it the most valuable part.
These two CEOs have since expanded their initial businesses into other areas, doing business not just locally, but also internationally.
I struck a deal with someone there who had a boutique in London. And so she ordered a full collection. I designed a full collection for her boutique. And because of that, I was now talking about doing business in millions, not just single.
UWIN inadvertently has changed the mindset of Mrs. Ojonoko and other UWINers on Nigeria from negative to positive.
That for me made me have faith in my country. I was always angry paying taxes, but now that I have partaken in the UWIN grant, I have come to appreciate what taxpayers' money goes to.
Mrs. Chukwukere expresses her wish that UWIN program is brought back to further empower more youths.
It's really unfortunate that they had to cancel UWIN as a project. For people like me who were sitting down at home and had no place to go, nowhere to turn to, I would really wish that they would restart it again.
Agriculture. A lot of agricultural schemes which we see functional today are inherited from the PDP government. The PDP Agricultural Transformational Program is directed at promoting local production, substituting for imported foods and adding value to our locally produced crops. Thanks to the PDP policy, agriculture is no longer a development program. It is now being treated as a business. One that is now generating wealth and creating jobs for millions of youths.
One sector that creates so many job opportunities is the agricultural sector.
Comment to also other supporting areas like provision of fertilizer. And there was a lot of corruption in the way fertilizer was being shared before PDP came into government. We produced we came up with the e-wallet program, where you don't even need to go and lobby anywhere. You don't need to start moving from helter-skelter to get fertilizer. You will have a text message, and SMS will come to you telling you the amount of fertilizer you've been given, how much you'll pay for it, where you go and pick it, promptly you go and pick it. So what we did was to ensure that all those middlemen that were there were removed.
The 25 years rail strategy, commenced by the Obasanjo government, consolidated by successive PDP governments, is yielding positive results. The good news is the present administration has continued to carry on with the project.
I remember the VP commissioned the one in this Port Harcourt, this eastern wing, Port Harcourt, Mediguri and so on. The west, Lagos then was also functioning. Lagos to Ibadan and so on, I also rode on that one. But then we also said that we must develop the modern rail system, because you cannot continue with that. Luckily for us, we almost completed the Kaduna-Abuja one, which Nigerians are using today. You saw me, we rode. We drove in those trains within Abuja. We did that also. It was not quite completed because most of the terminal buildings were still being done, but the rail lines were completed. And I believe this government will continue from there.
The local content policy of the PDP administration on the oil and gas sector have made Nigeria and Nigerians better off financially. This act allows Nigerians to participate actively in the business of oil exploration, refining, and exportation.
Because where we were in the industry, then there were services we could never indicate interest in. They started advertising them that you could put in as a local company. And most of those services, we won. We were given the opportunity to grow. And some of the experts, Nigerian experts, that were working for the multinational companies, we were able to push them, take them, and then make them managers, and they started earning money. So the Local Content Act has been very helpful.
Over the years, the aviation industry has enjoyed the proactive policies of the PDP administrations in the sector. But is our airspace safer now?
Would you believe that when I came into office as a minister in 2005 or 2006, whenever it was, the radar system we were using was the one that we were using in 1979. And it only covered a little bit outside Lagos. We were using Ghanaian radar. We now had to resurrect the one from 1979 to cover the Lagos area, until we now brought in a very sophisticated radar system. And it's now, it's been functional ever since. It covers every inch of Nigerian airspace. If you look at the runway, in the second runway, 18LR, I remember the name very well, in Lagos Airport, we're the ones that started that. I'm the one that commissioned that. I'm the one that built it. From FAN, we reformed all the various parastatals and so on and so forth. So many routes, international routes that we're applying today, we opened those routes. So many airlines done and so on and so forth. We're the ones that gave them the opportunities and the licenses to fly. And of course, we closed down the bad ones.
In our FAA Category 1, we got the Cat 1. After a review of our airports and our systems, the American FAA, which goes to certify airports to allow American airplanes come, gave Nigeria a Category 1 certification. So we had that. We had also done TRACON under the Jonathan administration to create for a total coverage of the Nigerian airspace. Our Federal Airports Authority was revamped by the remodeling program that remodeled about 22 airports across Nigeria, and then also introduced the construction of new airports to show that Nigerians have been growing in time. We're not standing still. So we have to make sure that we build for today and for the future. So I believe that Nigerian aviation was on the right track. It's unfortunate that this government, in commissioning the airports, give the impression that they did something about the airports. There was no such thing. The airport was a loan from the China Exim Bank. It was $400 million with $100 million counterpart fund, and Nigeria paid the $100 million. And the Chinese government are now doing their own $400 million. So all the airport issues were resolved before we left office.
While Nigeria is not where it ought to be educationally, the PDP government took the country from comatose state to where we have it now. Indeed, there was limited infrastructure, manpower, and even political will to walk the talk of Nigeria standing in the League of Educated Nations.
The PDP government as well signed into law 14 universities, new universities built and funded, one in each geopolitical zone, again to encourage children to go to school, to encourage them to get the highest, most affordable education in a way that made us comparable to our peers across the world. The Almajiri schools was such a revolution. The PDP government realized that for Nigeria as a country to develop, all parts of Nigeria must develop.
The road infrastructural development is perhaps a spotlight in the PDP's efforts of taking Nigeria through the journey of advancement. While we are still a long way to go in the provision of road infrastructure, the PDP's effort at transforming our dilapidated roads has given us something to build on.
When the PDP came on board, President Obasanjo decided to focus on road construction. That he committed to dualizing Kano-Maiduguri Road, Warri-Port Harcourt Road. Then came in President Jonathan. Under President Jonathan, there was a cardinal program of government, the SHIFT program, which is Strategic Highway Investment for Transformation. Under that program, the PDP government committed to dualizing all the roads linking the six geopolitical parts of the country, the major arterial road, the north-south road, and the east-west road. Roads like Abuja, Lokoja, Benin, Dual Carriageway on our arterial A2 was being dualized, and substantial progress was made. Lagos-Ibadan Expressway was being reconstructed. The Benin-Ore-Shagamu Road, you have the Onitsha Head Bridge, the Nugu, Longpanta, Umuahia, Baba, and to Port Harcourt. The Kano-Katsina Express Road. We commenced work on all those roads. And beyond this major road that were being dualized, we focus on roads leading to the airport, the seaport, and roads leading to the farm areas and industries in order to be able to throw up a whole lot of opportunities for our farmers. Because at the time, we were also involved in agricultural transformation program, and the road sector was a core part of that particular program. The SHIP program also promised to deliver 3 new bridges to Nigeria. The local Oweto Bridge, the second Niger Bridge, and the Bodoboni Road with a bridge across the Opobo Channel. And the PDP government delivered in all this. They started all these programs. Most of these programs, majority of them took off and they reached substantial stage of completion. For instance, like the local Oweto Bridge, before we left government, we were almost hitting 70% completion. The second Niger Bridge, of course, was commenced. What commenced on it?
Road users are celebrating the ease with which they are able to travel on the Nigerian roads and the numerous economic and social gains that the roads of opportunities provide.
I'm very happy that federal government remembers us for Ondo State.
Once a foe of the PDP, Alhaji Buba Galadima, having tasted the APC experience, is of the view that the PDP that has been behind the major development in Nigeria from independence till now is still the party to trust.
Well, for sure, you know as well as I do, and so also so many Nigerians know, that every developmental project in the country today that APC is mouthing about has been started and to a certain extent almost completed by the PDP government. What I keep on wondering is that the PDP themselves are not singing their own praise. I think they should do more, because on the benefit of hindsight, everything that was good associated with Nigeria was done under this period of 16 years.
Welcome back. I do hope you had fun and that you are now well informed. Former Aviation Minister, Honorable Osita Chidoka, is on hand to summarize the 16 years of PDP.
Building state airports. If you look at our federal medical centers across the country, PDP introduced the idea of federal medical centers and expanded it to every state in Nigeria. What do you talk about education and the revolution in the private sector education, allowing private universities to come on stream? Or when you talk about the sovereign wealth fund, that today Nigeria has about 1.3, 1.4 billion US dollars in a sovereign wealth fund. If you look at the Stock market, when we took it over, and look at where it was by the time PDP handed over, it had quadrupled over that period. So my question is, how can you say 16 years of it? 16 years of the period when Nigeria became a strong member of our international community. How can you talk about 16 years of waste when you talk about the years when the onshore and offshore dichotomy, the 13% derivation, was deepened under the PDP government? And we brought about the peace that Nigerians enjoy today in the Niger Delta. How can anybody talk about Nigeria and talk about 16 years when our GDP became the biggest economy in Africa, when our country was reputed to be growing at 6 to 7% annual growth in the economy? The economy we handed over to the APC was a very strong economy. Low debt compared to any country in Africa. We had one of the lowest debt ratios. We handed over a foreign reserves of over 30 billion US dollars. We handed over to the biggest economy in Africa. What did the APC do? They shut down that economy.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's no doubt, listening to everyone that has spoken, that the 16 years of PDP has been a glorious one. Now we join Honorable Kabiru Tanimu Turaki as he celebrates the 16 years of PDP and the future that the PDP holds for Nigeria.
I think 16 years of PDP are years of progress, are years of achievements, are years of decency, are years of transparency, are years of respect for the dignity of human person, are years for the respect of rule of law, are the years for the entrenchment of democracy and democratic culture, the years of deepening of institutions in Nigeria. In these are the best years of Nigeria as a nation, and we're proud of being PDP, and we're proud to be associated with the achievements of PDP.